welcome to my new series that I'm trying out here. We're calling it Breaking Bad. Our goal is to take one of the over-the-top Planeswalkers decks you can get over the counter, and then we're going to play it, probably lose a whole bunch, and then every week we're going to make it a little bit better. So the rules are going to be no more than $20 and no more than 8 cards can change from week to week. So, and that'll be both paper and online. So if you have a card that's like $20 in paper and 20 cents online, it's going to count as $20. Alright, so this is the deck tech for the Phase 1, the out-of-the-box Ajani Valiant Protector Planeswalker deck. So, according to the strategy guide, this is exactly what they say for playing the deck. On the plane of Kaladesh, renegades are an open rebellion against the oppressive consulate. With this deck, you'll harness the revolt mechanic to empower your cards while Ajani helps build up your side of the battlefield. Early on, play creatures that can begin attacking and cards like Renegade Map that you can sacrifice. Don't be afraid to let them go to your graveyard. If they do, they'll enable your cards to revolt effect, letting you summon larger creatures like Lifecraft Cavalry and recruit more to your cause with aid of the Cowl. Once you find Ajani, he'll help you grow your forces in both number and size until you can overwhelm your opponent's defenses. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got here. Alright, so I'm going to start with the land. We have 9 forests, 9 plains, and 4 tranquil expanse. Pretty simple mana base, very cheap. I'm sure there's something we can upgrade in there. I mean, even just adding some Evolving Wilds as a trigger for Revolt could be worthwhile. We have the 1-drops are Renegade Map. Okay, Renegade Map enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, sacrifice Renegade Map, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So it kind of helps us tutor for more land and helps activate the revolt mechanic. I mean, I'm sure there's much better than that, and we got 3 of those in this map. Then we got Narnam Renegade, a 1/2 death touch with revolt. When Narnam Renegade enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. So could quite easily be a 2/3 death touch for 1, which is pretty useful. Prey upon target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. I guess it's green's cheap answer for removal. I'm sure there's much better options we have there. Unbridled Growth. Enchant land. Enchanted land has tap. Add 1 color of any mana to your mana pool. Sacrifice Unbridled Growth to draw a card. It can help us mana fix a little bit, but I think most of the time it's just going to be sacrifice to draw a card and activate Revolt. Verdant Automation, a 1/2 for 2 that has a very horrible version of fire breathing on it. Actually, it's putting counters on, so it's not quite fire breathing, but either way, it's a little bit pricey. Audacious Infiltrator can't be blocked by artifact creatures for a 2 mana 3/1. Okay, this is one of the ones that's unique to the Planeswalker deck. It is Ajani's Comrade. Trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an Ajani Planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on Ajani's Comrade. So, I mean, that could be useful if, we get it late game and or just keep it alive long enough to have an Ajani out to start getting +1/+1 counters on it. Natural Obsolescence. Put target artifact on the bottom of its owner's library. So again, artifact removal, and it can also get one of our artifacts out of the way without actually physically losing it to the graveyard. Daredevil Dragster. A vehicle. At the end of combat, if Daredevil Dragster attacked or blocked this combat, put a velocity counter on it. Then if there are 2 or more velocity counters on it, sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. So it's a vehicle, 4/4 for 3 with a crew 2 that eventually dies and triggers Revolt. Daredevil Harpooner, 2/2 for 3. When Deadeye Harpooner enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, destroy target tapped creature and opponent controls. So some removal built in with your revolt mechanic there. Only one of those in the deck. Solemn Recruit, double strike. 2/2 double strike for 3, which is okay, but if you can get it with the revolt mechanic activated, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And that's every end step, so it can start getting bigger and bigger, and with double strike can do some work. Girapur Guide, target creature you control can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Silk Weaver Elite, with reach, 2/2 reach, that if you can draw a card, if you can trigger revolt. Inspiring Roar, which is a nice +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Again, there are a lot better ways to do this than 4 mana. Armorcraft Judge. When Armorcraft Judge enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control with +1/+1 counters. That can combo well with the Inspiring Roar, or if we get Ajani, because he puts counters on. We'll get to him later, though. Ajani's Aid, another one that's unique to the Planeswalker deck. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library or graveyard for an Ajani Valiant Protector, reveal it, put it in your hand, and search your library. This way, shuffle it. Sacrifice it to prevent all combat damage a creature of your choice would deal this turn. So there's 2 of those. It kind of, because we're only running one of the Planeswalker in the base deck, helps you to tutor it up, and then helps to protect you a little bit there. So it could have some use. I don't see you playing it any other deck other than this, but for now it'll have a spot. Airdrop Aeronaut, a flying, 4/3 flying for 5. And when it enters the battlefield, if you trigger revolt, you get 5 gain life. 4/4 for 5 with trample, and you get 2 +1/+1 counters if you trigger revolt. Aid from the Cowl, an enchantment that at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom of your library. So that could be powerful if we're triggering a lot of revolt. We've got one of those. Ridgescale Tusker. The Ridgescale Tusker enters the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on it on each other creature you control. So it pumps your whole team up and gives you something else for the Armorcraft Judge to help you draw some more cards. Engineered Might. Target creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn and trample. Or all creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So that can be a nice little win condition at the end if you can build out a big enough board. And finally, the main card in our deck here, Ajani Valiant Protector. He is +2, put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. So pump up a creature every turn. +1, reveal a card from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. And then -11 for his ultimate. Put X +1/+1 counters on target creature where X is your life total. That creature gains trample until end of turn. Starting loyalty 4. So you have to plus this thing. I'm just doing some math here. 3 times? 4 times? So 4 turns, and it's coming out on turn 6, because we don't really have much ramp. So by turn 10, you can ultimate him, ideally. And if you have any decent amount of life, it'll pump one guy up, hopefully one of your tramplers, and win the game. As far as ultimates go, not really that impressive. So I'm still waiting for a couple of these cards to become available on MTGO. Mostly the ones from the deck, because for some reason they haven't released the decks on MTGO yet. So once I get those cards, I'm going to record some videos, and you can find them here. I'm going to create a nice playlist for it. And feel free to comment what cards you'd like to change, either on this video or the video of the gameplay. And I'm gonna, like, it'll depend on when I can get the videos up, but I'm gonna leave after 3 days, I'm going to pick some of the best responses, and then I'll create a poll, and we'll go from there as to what cards we change. Thanks for coming along on this adventure, and hopefully we can make this deck playable. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want to see more like it, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe.